Good morning, everyone. This is Scott. I'm here with my buddy Gary. We're going to talk about the four most important college football games of the weekend. We're going to start out with, I believe it is Tennessee. No, it's
Michigan,
USC
USC.
versus Michigan, right?
Yeah, Michigan hosting USC on Saturday. This one's CBS, I believe, 3:30 p.m. Central, or excuse me, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes,
This one's fun. What is Do you have Spank odds pulled up right now?
always. If I'm awake, it's open.
Good, good, good. Do we have a what is it? 5.5, 6
It's a
USC?
-6, and it's pretty solid across the market. All the way from Pinnacle to Bet US. It's a -6 everywhere.
That's kind of what I thought. I think it opened at 5.5. It's pretty solid 6 now. Um, my numbers on this look Michigan success rate wise looked good against Arkansas State last week, but eh, my numbers are all over USC on this. USC coming off of a bye. I get USC just a stats model, USC by like 17. But when you do
Ooh,
power rank and stats, I've got USC by 9. So
wow.
I can understand the market movement right now. If you just look at pure power rating right now, I've got USC by mm, a little under 7, and that's before home field is taken into account. So there might be some Michigan buyback just based on power rating. But man, I mean, this USC team looks really, really good right now. Danton Lynn, the new defensive coordinator that came in from UCLA, I feel like he's worked a miracle here because this defense looks legit. They are playing pretty legit. They're not great against the pass, but you don't have to really worry about that with Michigan. Against the run, I mean, I've got them number 4 in the country in rushing success rate allowed. Uh, there's still some ways that Michigan can move the football on them, but man, like right now, this USC defense is at least tracking to be average, if nothing else. And when you're average and you've got an offense that's number 9 in PPA per drive, yeah, they're going to be pretty good. So Michigan's going to have to be able to score to keep up. I don't know if they can. Kind of lean USC here.
Yeah, and I got to say, I agree with you. This is what I love about college football. If we talk about this game before the season starts and you start telling me USC is favored, I think you're insane. But
Yes.
now you're going to say things like, wait a minute, Texas came to the big house. Look at what USC did with LSU. I'm agreeing with you. I think USC wins this ball game, and I never would have said that a month ago, ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Agreed. 100%.
but this is why we love college football. It's not the pros, but I'll mention a little thing about the pros here in a little bit. But yeah, we're in a complete agreement on this. I believe our second game, and this is a fun game. This is a game I really want to watch. This is Tennessee taking on Oklahoma. I'm a big fan of Oklahoma every week, except when they play Nebraska. So go ahead and tell me what kind of line you got on this one.
So this one is, I mean, there's not a stats model out there that is going to give you Oklahoma right now because they have not looked good really for 2 weeks in a row, right? They failed to put away Tulane until late over the weekend. And then the weekend before just did not look good against Houston at all. Tennessee is an absolute buzzsaw. But there are a couple of things that work in Oklahoma's favor this week. This number, I think it's 7.5. Is it still 7.5?
You can get some sevens if you shop. If you're a
See,
top down guy and do some shopping, there's some sevens out there.
so right now, you've got college game day coming into Norman, so it's going to be a huge environment.
Yeah.
First ever SEC game for Oklahoma. Nico Iamaleava, I hope I said that right. He is going on the road for the first time, and this is the first real defense that he's played against. Right, NC State, yeah, typically good defense, but NC State's still trying to figure some stuff out. That team is not looking very good right now. So the strength of schedule difference between what Oklahoma has played and what Tennessee has played is pretty vast. When you look at just power rating, I mean, I've got Tennessee by 10. You toss in at 3 points, maybe 4 points for home field advantage, and then you can get back to this touchdown number. Stats model plus the power rating. I mean, I've got Tennessee by like 19. I don't feel great about it because I want to see what Nico looks like on the road. This is a perfect data point to figure out exactly what Nico is going to look like on the road. because that Oklahoma defense has been known to confuse some really good quarterbacks, especially under Brent Venables. So I'm very curious. Every number I've got says to take Tennessee, but I don't know. I mean, the schedule spot, everything else, this feels like this could go either way. So I'm staying off of it. But yeah, the numbers say Tennessee for sure, and they are rolling. Do you see what they did against Kent State, where they went for an onside kick in the first quarter, up 30-0? I mean, it's just nobody is getting in front of this hype, wagon that they got going on. But if anybody was going to do it, Oklahoma at home at night, game day, first road game for the freshman, or I guess sophomore quarterback now. Yeah, I mean, this is a weird spot. What do you think about this one?
I like Oklahoma a lot, and if you're going to give me points, Oklahoma at home, Oklahoma Magic. I've lived through that as a kid against Nebraska forever. There's no way I could play against Oklahoma here. So to save my bankroll, I'm gonna stay off the game also.
That's a smart
But
move.
I would never bet against Oklahoma at home like this. Getting points.
Yeah.
I like Tennessee a lot though. So and you're right. It's their first SEC game. I think Oklahoma is going to come prepared here. I think they're going to play a big ball game. I'm not sure they can win it, but I think they can cover.
This is another one, by the way. You brought up USC. Nobody a month ago would have said that USC could go into the Big House and win.
Right.
This is another one where the game of the year line, when it came out, 2 months ago, however long ago that was, Oklahoma was favored by 2.5, and now it's all the way out to a 7 the other direction. I mean, It's 10 points of line movement after just 3 weeks.
Yeah,
pretty wild.
I said it before. I'll say it again. This is why we love college football. Anything could happen, but I think we've buried the lead long enough. This is the most important game, probably your national champions this year, playing on a Friday. This game is a scary game for Nebraska. They are at home, or no, they're on the road. They're on the road.
No. Nebraska's at home this week.
Oh, they are at home. Okay, that's good. That's good. They are at home. I had my notes here backwards. The problem, Nebraska taking on Illinois. What kind of line do you have on this one?
And so this one's a Friday night game, right?
Friday night. That's the problem with this game.
Yes. Everybody loves Nebraska right now, and my numbers are not that high on the Huskers for this one. Now, I can understand why people would be big on Nebraska, but I mean, I'm looking at this thing. I've got Illinois stats model only. Illinois favored by 1.4. When you toss in the power rating, I've got, let's see, Nebraska by 1. Like I feel like this should be a pick'em, but I feel like there are so many people that are hyped up about Dylan Raiola, about all that. This Illinois offense is pretty good under Barry Lunny. You've got the Altmaier kid at quarterback. And then you got Zachary Franklin that came in. He was at UTSA, 1,000-yard receiver multiple years in a row, goes over to Ole Miss, never sees the field, immediately goes up to Illinois, goes back with his former offensive coordinator, and he is, I mean, they got weapons. They can run the ball, they can throw the ball, and on defense, I mean, we know what to expect from a Bielema defense, right? Right now, I've got them at 43, number 43 in defensive PPA allowed per drive. I've got them at 49 in offensive PPA allowed per drive. This is a pretty balanced, average football team. Should they have lost to Kansas? Probably. With gambling, a turnover's worth about 4 points, at least what we look at. And Kansas was -3 in that game, so they lost by 6. It probably should have won the game by 6, just based off of, the gamblers' 4 points per turnover. I mean, Illinois is number 1 in turnover margin in the country, but Nebraska is number 17, so it's not like they're that far off. Both of these teams pretty good as far as fundamentals, taking care of the football. At penalties per game, you've got Illinois number 19, you've got Nebraska number 95. I think that it's just too many points. 9 points feels like too many. I still think Nebraska probably wins the game at home, but Friday night game. It's at home. I know everybody's excited, but I think Illinois could come in there and kind of slow this thing down a little bit and maybe confuse that freshman quarterback from Nebraska.
I 100% agree with you. This is the problem with college football. We're trying to turn it into a pro league and spread out the number of days. The people in Nebraska hate this. They do not want Nebraska playing on Friday. Friday was built for high school football.
Yes.
Nebraska tried to get this game moved. They did not want to play it on a Friday, and they couldn't get it done. They wanted to play it on Saturday. Nebraska is not going to cover in this spot. I believe they're going to win, but I think this game is going to be scary close. Very, very scary close. Now, Nebraska's going to fill the stadium. They have since 1962. I don't care what day you're playing, what time you're playing. They're going to fill the stadium, and I believe this is our 400th consecutive sellout this Saturday or this Friday. So Nebraska will be there, but they don't want to be there. They want to be there on a Saturday. So I think Nebraska's going to win by a field goal or less, which reminds me, and I don't know if you got to see this yet or not, I got my PS5 set up yesterday. I wanted to see Nebraska play Florida State really bad yesterday afternoon as the first game. Nebraska took them to 3 overtimes to beat them in Lincoln. It was a great ball game. I wouldn't be surprised to see a repeat performance here. So that's my play here. I love Nebraska on the money line. I don't like them on the spread.
I could get with that. I could get with that.
And then that brings us to our fourth and final game. We've got Utah taking on Oklahoma State. What do you got on this one?
This one's going to be very interesting because the market is set up basically like Cam Rising is not going to play. I don't know that he's not going to play. When you look at just the overall numbers, Stats Model has Utah by 13. The other side has has Power and Stats combined has got Utah by 8, even on the road.
Wow.
This Oklahoma State has not looked great all year. They looked really good against Tulsa, but even still, there was a point in that game where Tulsa was down 28-0, and they were averaging 7 yards per play on offense. So it just did not. There were things that did not go right for Tulsa in that game. However, Oklahoma State at home, it's a big spot. They're favored by 2.5, I believe, in most spots. If Rising plays, I would lean Utah because I think they have a line of scrimmage advantage. If he doesn't play, then it gets real hairy real quick because they still have a line of scrimmage advantage. But I think with a young quarterback going into a road environment like that in Stillwater, that's going to be really tricky. There's not a lot of numbers that point to Oklahoma State here. Utah's got the better offense. They got the better defense. At least the better offense whenever Cam Rising is on the field. I don't know. Utah likes to play slow. They're number 91 in offensive plays per game. Oklahoma State plays fast. They're number 26 in that spot. But I think this is a pace game. Whoever ends up dictating the pace is going to come out on top here. But I can't come up with a bet here until I know whether or not Rising's playing. Yeah, you kind of feel the same way?
Something very similar. What I wanted to say here is this is a top-down bettor's basically dream. I'm seeing -1s out there. I'm seeing -2.5s. You've got a lot of movement here across the board. Nobody really knows what's happening on this game yet. It has not settled down. If you have a hard opinion right now, you probably should bet it, given the big disparity right now in the market. Right now, at this point, I don't know who's going to win this ball game. These are not two teams that I traditionally cover and watch because, they're not going to be playing Nebraska. And that's pretty much my main focus in life here.
And they might in the playoff.
In the playoffs, yeah. maybe if they can get that far. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, I don't really have an opinion on this game. When I look at the lines, though, when I look at the lines on Spank Odds, I can't believe I'm seeing that big a discrepancy between a lot of major books. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun game.
It makes sense. So we know that the limits are up at BetUS, so
yes.
That will be moving around quite a bit, I imagine.
Yeah, and if you hover on BetUS on Spank Odds, it'll tell you what the limits are, and they raise them almost every day. The first Monday and Tuesday, they have a limit, and then it just keeps moving until you get a big limit there on Saturday. And they're giving the same limit to everybody, so it'd be a good place to play if you get a chance.
Yeah, it works out. Anybody that's been limited before at BetUS, they're letting you back in the door, which works out pretty well.
Yeah, I'm hearing that too. And that's great news. Well, I want to do to close here by saying I've got my PS5 running and I'm going to go crazy with it. There is an NFL game tonight. The Eagles are playing. I think in the next half an hour to an hour, I'm going to go ahead and broadcast that on YouTube. If you want to watch that ball game, you can. I'll be having it on there. Cameron is going to post the 4 games that we talked about here today. He's going to have a doubleheader on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Pacific time and Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Pacific time. I'm going to be broadcasting games, I believe, at noon Pacific. But, I kind of like the fantasy games. You never know who Nebraska might take on earlier in the week. I don't want to wear them out for the Friday game, but I think they're going to get another fantasy game in there. Gary, is there anybody on fantasy that you'd like to see this week that I could work in there?
Oh, good gracious. I want to see about Alabama, Georgia that's coming up next week. But yeah, it's some of those, Penn State against some of these other teams that are up at the top. A Penn State versus Tennessee game could be a lot of fun. So
that
something like that.
I agree with that one. I'll put that on my fantasy list, and I'll see what I can do for you, okay?
Most certainly.
That sounds really good. I think that's about all for us this week. You can reach me on Twitter. I'm at Vegas Horse Pools. We didn't even get a chance to talk anything about the big Survivor contest, but it was another blowout with a lot of big favorites losing. If you still have a ticket, congratulations. I think 2/3 of the people now are
they are out.
Survivor. Yeah, they're out of there. So, like I said, you can reach me on Twitter. Gary, where can they reach you at? And tell us about your other 2 shows. Because
Winning Cures Everything, of course, is my personal YouTube and podcast. I like to. I'm kind of sporadic all over the place, but I guarantee you that I will be going over basically what we did here. I'm going to be going over showing my stats model along with my power ratings, etc., for like at least 20 games per week on the Winning Cures Everything page. And then we do full deep dives, myself, Parker Fleming, and Kyle Hunter on the BetUS College Football Show every Tuesday and Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find that on YouTube as well. Just search out BetUS College Football, and it'll pop up right there. But yeah, I do a lot of content every week. Hop on 3 Dog Thursday with TJ Reeves every now and then. Try and get in there with him as much as I can because we have a good time as well. But 3 Dog Thursday is nothing but underdog college football bets. So yeah, I do a lot in these 2 spaces. But as you can see, where I am right now here with Scott, I'm all over the place. So you can find me on Twitter at Gary WCE. That's going to be the easiest spot to find me.
That sounds great. All right, another great conversation. I'll let you go, and thank you for everybody for watching. Have a good day.
Absolutely.